I feel more so these days that the modern day workplace is feeling much more unprofessional, and it's becoming more like a school like environment where, like teachers, they treat students like kids sometimes, or they have to, give them warnings, or in some cases, maybe yell at them for no good reason. And that can be very common in the workplace sometimes, unfortunately, and it can be a little bit of a hassle as well. But when your boss acts like a parent to you, then that's where things really go wrong. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. So, not too long ago, there was a little bit of a uh, little dramatic incident at work where I work at, and I had to be with one of the supervisors who was really frustrated, and she pretty much told us that she's being angry, the angry version of herself. So what had happened is we I'm in a production like environment, and based on our work environment type settings, we can't bring anything on the floor. We can't bring phones or computers or our backpacks or belongings. So having said that, we do have a locker room, and that's where we place all our belongings and so forth, and keep our stuff secure. And about once or twice a week, so on Friday nights, since I work the evenings, they do a quick locker room cleaning where I'm at, and they usually do it like towards the end of the night. And usually they remind us to clear our belongings, make sure to clear the shelves and so forth, just to make sure that we keep the place tidy and so forth, and nothing's at the top. Well, towards the end of the night, one of our supervisors came on the floor. She was acting really frustrated. She was angry, and she pretty much said the following: "Just want to let you guys know that there was stuff kept at the top of the shelves, and when I saw the janitors cleaning and trying to move around it, it was very frustrating. And I had to place all the bags in a cart, and I just want to tell you, we give you all these heads ups and these announcements, yet you guys are still not listening." And she went on a little rant, and she's like, "I'm not going to do this. This is the last time I'm going to do this. And if anything, if that happens again, we're going to throw out your stuff. I am not happy," and so forth. I mean, she was just like, wow, she went off like a crazy rant or so forth, or she was just not having it. And so, although I get her message and that she was frustrated, I find it to be a little bit unprofessional because she didn't have to uh, approach it this way to us. And I feel like in this context, she could have been like a little bit more professional, or maybe we could have had like a brief huddle just saying, "Hey, just want to give you guys a reminder to clear out your belongings on the top shelves and so forth." And that way it's easier for the janitors to clean. But it wasn't that way. And I find it to be a little bit, in a way, not necessary for her, but it also shows how I think incidents like this, where management is a little bit unprofessional or they could have done a better job, really is the big takeaway here. And so I feel like the biggest problem here is management is acting more like parents these days, and it just shows a clear sign of deeper unprofessionalism. You know, for someone like the supervisor, Rachel, to be emotionally handling it is not the best way to go about it. And not that I'm a supervisor myself, nor I want to be, but I would have handled it in a more professional tone where we, treat the staff like adults. And I feel like this is another example where there's like a poor alignment between employee needs, whether it's between autonomy and respect, and the company culture. You know, especially if you, no matter if you work at a small company, a mid-sized company, or a big company, uh, there's going to be a little bit of conflict, and uh, there could be some bureaucracy involved, and that's not the way to go about it. And in my case, I work at a large company where it's like, okay, it's an HR driven family bureaucracy type of environment, even though we're always lectured on, we want to reduce bureaucracy and so forth and put the customer first. Well, I think that's a little bit of BS right there. And I think it just shows that in bigger companies, I think HRs act more like bureaucracies, and when things go wrong, they have to enforce things, and they, tell their employees saying, "Hey, you have to do X, Y, and Z, or don't do this, or else." I feel like that's what HR has become over the years, and I feel like they've been less trustful. And so when you have incidents like this, and you get HR involved and so forth, uh, more employees lead to burnouts, and there's more disengagement, and it becomes more of a not of a great experience, and employees have more of lackluster careers, to say. So in this case, I think the better solution would have been to, set the boundaries, make sure to document things, and, you know, to use that time to just make your message clear to people. And I think better communication could have been uh, handled. If it was a brief huddle where, we make that reminder and so forth. I mean, I think huddles or quick ones are good, but you don't want to have like long meetings and so forth. Not a big fan of meetings, but you just gotta throw it out there and make that reminder to say, hey, we got to do this. If not, then it's just gonna make it harder for the janitors to go about that direction. And so I think, in a way, if you had handled it more professionally like that, rather than just coming on the floor and acting frustrated and you're yelling at the staff, then it would have been a little bit more better. And I think the employees would uh, gain more respect from you. So, and in any case, when I go to work, I try to do the best to, show respect to others, and, to earn my trust and so forth, or I earn their trust, and that's how you go about it. So here's some of the quick takeaways that I got from that incident, and I don't know, it probably won't be the last time it happens, but unfortunately, that's how it works. So first one is to recognize the pattern. Use it as a fuel for, if you want to do something else outside of work, whether that's a side hustle or you want to do something else. And then two, reclaim professionalism. You want to lead by example, with ownership, and, use that time to protect your energy. Whether that's batching your work or doing deep work, you want to ensure that you, get yourself on the right track to being professional and respecting others in the workplace. And the third takeaway is, especially if you're someone like me who wants to get out of the rat race or you want to quit your job, start building your exit path now. You know, Building an exit plan, I think, is a great way to, really get yourself on the right track to doing something that you want to do. And, whether you want to start your own business or you want to do something on the side or do some type of creative project where you can be, the best version of yourself. Whether that's, creating content online, or you want to do something like investing or trading and so forth. I do a mix of content creation while also, trading throughout the week. And that's only like a 1 to 2 hour thing, and make good income from it. And then also, you want to prioritize freedom over fitting the good kid role. And I say that because this is something that I've struggled with over the years, and it's become more of a uh, difficult challenge and so forth. And, I think freedom of anything is the most important thing, and you want to ensure that things go well. But that's that's something you want to keep in mind of. So this situation, with the supervisor, it clearly shows that there's misalignments in the work environment I'm in, and it's not something that I would want to do as a supervisor myself. And it's probably not going to be the last time it happens. But the big takeaway is that you can control your own path to wealth, to freedom, and to creating long-lasting impact. And so, you know, I am considered what I call the anti-careerist, and I want to be clear that working a job is not going to do you any good long term. Jobs are temporary, and you have to go through the frustrations and these little drama situations at times. But in the end, it can be a very uh, it can be the best thing you can do by creating an exit plan and being able to work on your own or do something else where you don't have to be stuck in a job that you don't want to be in. So, but if you got something out of this video and you want to go deeper into exploring alternative paths to the traditional career, or you want to get out of the rat race, then I encourage you to check out my latest ebook called Three Paths, Three Prisons, Freedom or Indentured Servitude. And in that book, I go over some of the most common paths that adults take in life, and what you can do about it in the short term. And in a way, I also provide a better path or an alternative that you can take, rather than the three paths that I lay out. So if it interests you and you want to learn more, be sure to check out the link in the video description below. You can scan the QR code at the end of this video as well, and sign up below. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side through my email list, and you can definitely get a lot out of it. So what are your thoughts? Have you come across a situation where maybe a supervisor or a manager acted unprofessional, or they were just not having a good day? Do you think that there's a lot of misalignment between uh, frontline associates and management? Do you think there's a better pathway out of not having to deal with this trauma on a day-by-day basis? If so, let me know your thoughts below, and I'd love to hear what you have to think, and what you think about this topic. But look forward to reading your comments below, and that's all I got for now. So until next time, peace.